Hello and happy May the 4th to everyone here. I'm wearing my shirt in celebration of this day. Thank you so much for joining us, blockchain mentors, blockchain participants. What we're doing here today is kind of like a part 2 of the question and answer that we had done, I believe, like 3 weeks to a month ago. So this is the Blockchain for Social Impact Q&A with ConsenSys. And with that being said, I am joined by James Cori and Sophie from ConsenSys. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. James, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Nick. All right, so Q&A, BSIC Hackathon. We have some starter questions that we're going to go through. If you are watching, you can submit your questions. Nick, you're going to help us field those, I hope. And we'll see how it goes. Thanks for being with us, Sophie. Here comes your first question. These are participant questions from participants. First question, we need more mentors. What do we do?
Simply contact me if your original mentors are not responsive. Like mentors have been in touch with me, like saying they want to mentor more teams. So if you have those needs, just get in touch. Ping Sophie Gu on Slack, and I will be able to connect you.
Awesome. All right, next question. I'm missing some deadlines. Can I catch up?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're not really tracking deadlines. So if you miss some of them, it's completely fine. As long as you submit your final submissions, including all weekly checkpoints and the video demo before May 21st, you're good to go. You'll be evaluated just the same as any other teams. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, we set up the checkpoints just to kind of give you incentive throughout the hackathon to give your mentors the ability to see where you're at, see if you're hitting all of the major milestones. But that's more of a help to you. The checkpoints were more of a help to the teams. So we're not going to ding you on points for being late or anything like that. We just need all of that information. And most of those checkpoints, most of the information in those checkpoints leads into the submission, the final submission. So you're kind of doing it anyway. We just kind of spread it out. So with that, the next question kind of relates to that. I'm not familiar with the Topcoder forum. Can I use Google Docs to submit weekly checkpoints? The forums are there because we needed to provide a level set for everybody competing in the hackathon. That's the same reason why there is a forum on the main challenge. For those that don't know, when you participate at Topcoder, all the questions have to be visible to everybody to make competition fair. So we did the private forums. I know it's not ideal, but if you work with your mentors and you want to do submission through Google Docs, if you want to do submission through Dropbox, something like that, as long as you and your mentors are on the same page, we don't really care. You can also do it in Slack, but I would be careful with the Slack domain for the BSIC hackathon because it is a free instance of Slack. There's only a certain number of messages, and then messages start leaving. And same with file uploads. You only have a max amount of files that you can upload to Slack. So if your team is working within that Slack domain, be careful. You may lose history. That's why the forums are there. The content in the forums stays there. The files do as well. But like I said, if you want to work in Drive, you can do that. Now, I will be announcing, I believe I said it before in a previous forum post, but there is a format that you need to submit your final submission to that will include all of your checkpoint submissions in there as well. We're going to come out with a format with a README, with a bunch of information, and then the folders for the checkpoints, and then your final content, your code or your presentation. That needs to be uploaded to the challenge by the deadline. We do that so that people can edit files after the deadline. You can't, squeak in more information before the judges look at it. There can't be a fight that a judge missed something when maybe they didn't have access to it. Maybe there's a problem with Google Drive access for the judges. So for the final submission, that has to be uploaded to, for example, if you're on the agriculture challenge, it would be the Topcoder challenge for the agriculture use case. But all of this coming out, very Slack also, and we'll have that format for your submission as well. Next up, I find myself in multiple teams, didn't know it wasn't allowed. What should I do? I do want to apologize a little bit about that. That was, it was kind of allowed and then it kind of wasn't. But before registration closed, we did say that you could not be on multiple teams. So we are working now to remedy that. There's not many offenders on multiple teams, and we will be reaching out early next week about that. Sophie, do you want to add anything on the multiple teams piece?
Yeah, so the rule is that we cannot allow people on multiple teams, and the reasoning is that we cannot have people having a conflict of interest and then like stealing info from one team and benefiting another. I definitely don't want that to be the definitely don't want that to be the case. And then because some individuals people might not be aware of such a rule, so we will contact them individually and to make sure all the team, at least their team captains, are aware of the situation and try to sort these issues privately with them. So the individual being on multiple teams can only choose one team to go forward. If he does not or she does not make such a choice, he or she will be disqualified from receiving any prize. So this is the way we've been discussing moving forward.
Okay, Nick, I think you said there's a question.
There is a question. Yes, this comes from SRC Make. He asks, does that mean the DocuSign gets to be redone for teams with those offenders?
That's why we haven't done this yet. We have to figure out the appropriate way to do it. The problem is if we just do a DocuSign with the team captain, you could be leaving people out without that person knowing. So we need to figure out a way to get consent from that person to be removed from the team. And we need to keep this all fair and legal. So that is why we haven't done this yet. And Sophie and I are working to get the appropriate way to do it.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, I'm going to keep going through the questions in the sheet. Nick, let me know if there's more coming in. Our team is still waiting on contest administration to know if we got the DocuSign and preliminary steps completed. Inquiries to follow up have not been responded to or holding us up from fully starting. When will that be done? I don't know why that would prevent you from being fully started. You can work. We will get it settled with the team captain and members. The contract needs to be signed before the competition closes because when your submission comes in, we need to know once the judging and the placements are settled where the payments go. I guess if you're using that as an agreement for your team to be working, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that preventing you from working. Sophie, I don't know if you have input on that.
So if you are aware of your mentors, so you know who your mentors will be, I would just suggest you go ahead and share your Google Doc with them and contact them on Slack and get started. And just not let this administrative stuff get in your way, and try to work and then try to keep up with the rest of the incubator, rest of the schedule.
Okay, next up, why can't new teams be formed? Registration deadline passed, yes, but if all work gets done in time for final submission, then what's the big deal? Sophie, I'm going to let you let you answer that one.
Why we don't allow teams to be formed after the registration? Yes, this is a way for us to keep an idea of how many teams and will actually be in the incubator from the beginning to the end. So I think it is to legally ensure that all participants are fair, like get through this fair process, and then no one jumps in last minute to steal the work product of others. Again, there are still some thinking to be done, and I hope that all those Topcoder contracts and forums there in place to ensure that this is a fair competition result that we will all want to see. So this is the main reason for us not to have teams register at the last minute.
Okay. Next question. It seems like I will not be able to build an MVP POC for the demo. Judges will only have my words that this is possible. How will my submission be judged in this case? Sophie, I think that one's for you, based on the rubric.
Okay, so cool. So for 6 weeks, we do not really expect you to build a MVP. So the video demo can be anything, like as long as you can explain your idea clearly, and then people can visualize it based on your explanation. You do not necessarily need to build the product to show them, at least in the 6 weeks. So I think judges will only review your submissions according to the criteria that we provide them. So it does not actually include a working product. So this will not affect your score in any way. So if you submit the MVP that is perfect, like you've done more than I think most of the people in this incubator, but if not, you have plenty of time to catch up after the incubator. So just don't worry. Like keep focus on what you will be actually evaluated on right now.
Okay. I'm just going to jump into the next question. It's a long question, but it's kind of almost exactly the same as the question we asked now. Just to summarize, my question, should we submit a final use case example DApp that's fully functional, or just the protocol with a few hypothetical examples of DApps? Sophie just did kind of answer that, but I encourage you to talk to your mentor to see if you can just submit the protocol or the pluggable piece without a DApp. I think if you have code and prototype information, I think that the explanation of it, your explanation in your presentation, your video, stuff like that, you can say this is how it will work. And then more specifically, the impact of the protocol is different than the impact of the DApps people could build on the protocol. So the impact part that you'll be reviewed on, again, I would really, I don't want to give you a generic answer. I would say that's something that your mentor, you can put in front of your mentors and they could weigh in on. A lot of the mentors, and I know there's biographies out there, but a lot of the mentors have competed in the last year or were mentors also last year and know what is part of success on these submissions. So I would say I would field that to your mentor specifically. I hope I answered that question clear enough. If you actually want to comment in the Impact Incubator Q&A with more questions based on that, I can. Oh, looks like I answered it. Okay. Next question. Our team feels a bit unclear as far as what to prioritize in terms of impressing the judges. Again, a long question, and I do appreciate the LOL and thanks, but that's another question for your mentors. That's why the mentors are there. What's going to get you, what's going to pique the interest of the judges? What's going to be a complete submission? Why should we prioritize X over Y? That's why your mentors are there. That's why we as Topcoder agreed to do a Teams hackathon because we thought that was very important, and that's why mentors aren't normally a part of a challenge on Topcoder, but it's very important that you talk to these mentors who have previous experience, industry experience. I see you highlighting. I've heard some BSI people say no one has been, no one will be looking at the white papers or weekly deliverables. So the mentors are. Your mentor should be looking at your checkpoints. If you submit them, communicate with them, get feedback from them on your checkpoints. That's why the checkpoints are there described as such, and they'll help you move through that. So hopefully that answers your questions, but reach out on Slack if you need more clarity.
And also just want to add to that, like, even if you heard someone saying that, it doesn't matter because the judges will be evaluating those. So we as organizers will not be part of any evaluation. So don't listen to us. Like all your deliverables will be delivered directly to your judges' hands. Your names will be omitted. So After that, it's on their hands, in their hands now. That we are not part of any of the innovation that you have.
Okay. A teammate, which is not the team leader, submitted checkpoints. It was not clear that the team leader should be the only one that could upload them. It says, will the submissions count? Checkpoints, again, are there for your help. They are for you to work with your mentors. It does not matter for checkpoints. I'm going to underline that. For checkpoints, who submits, where you upload it. Like I said, you can use Drive. You can use different mechanisms. The checkpoints, it does not matter. The final submission for the deadline must be uploaded through Topcoder by your team captain's Topcoder handle. That's how we're going to line it with the contract. That's how we're going to know after the judging is done, which again, as Sophie said, will be anonymous. That's how we will line up the payments, and then the Topcoder handles that are on that contract will be paid out with the percentages on the dollar amount for the prize that you win. So it does not matter who uploads your checkpoints. It completely matters that it has to be the team captain that uploads to the final submission. All right, we have some questions for the mentors out there, from the mentors out there. One of my teams is experiencing quick attrition. Several team members dropped out, stopped delivering. Should the team let organizers know who is not on their team anymore? This kind of goes to the contract piece that we're talking about, Sophie, with teams with more members. We cannot open the floodgates of having people updating contracts. It's going to be an absolute nightmare based on emotions of the week, or if a team member drops out. But Sophie, I don't know if you want to touch on attrition of members.
Yeah, so this is something that is somehow expected. I mean, or not. It is kind of expected that not all people in this incubator will make it to the end. So if there are differences within your team, please try to sort it out within yourselves first. You're absolutely welcome to contact us if you like to flag those issues if you want to, because we will keep those in mind when we provide the post-incubator help. But again, we are not able to change the contracts or the price split for you at this point anymore. So unfortunately.
James, you're on mute.
Thank you, sir. There's been an ellipsis added to this question, Sophie. But if there are multiple teams that get to pick which to drop out of or stay in, this is what we're struggling with now. It should be between us and the team captain, not the member that is on multiple teams. Which team captain wants to keep them? Again, this is a touchy subject, and that's why we're taking our time with figuring out the best way to do it. Again, there's very few scenarios where that's true, so it will not impact many people. But that will come out early next week. We'll decide, and Sophie and I will announce what the decision is there. Next mentor question: what do we do about teams who are not responding to threads in Topcoder? This is from the mentors. So if mentors are posting in forums and team members are not, I would say reach out to them also in Slack if you can. A lot of the handles are the same, some may not be. But communication, at least a welcome or a hello, should be in the forum so that everybody's on the same page. And then I would suggest in that private forum for your team with your mentors, discuss how you want to discuss. If you want to make a private channel in the Topcoder or in the BSIC Slack, you can do that, or use some other mechanism. But please, team members, reach out to your mentors. Mentors, reach out to your team members in those private channels, just so you're on the same page about communication. What do we do about a team dropping out of the incubator? This is, again, from a mentor standpoint. I think that's to be expected within these kind of long duration hackathons. Team members will drop out, teams drop out. Just reach out to them the best you can. If you hear nothing from them, let us know. We can reach out to the team captain But beyond that, it's just going to be expected. I think that's it for questions. I see there's questions being added above. That's why I grade some out. I'm going to grade these out. New question, is it fair to say our project isn't graded against the weekly checkpoints and is only graded against the Airtable? The Airtable rubric is the rubric that the judges will be using, but part of that is they will be looking at the checkpoints that are in your final submission. The judges will. But the Airtable rubric is the be-all, end-all that has been there since before registration opened, and it has not changed. So that is your map to a successful submission. I would definitely stick to that. Ask your mentors and talk in Slack, I think, are the three things that you can do about the checkpoints and how to hone your submission.
And yeah, and just to add to that, the weekly checkpoint questions are really derived from the rubric. So they're not different things. They are just like questions and you need to answer to get the maximum score on your rubric. So keep that in mind. If you can answer all the questions in weekly checkpoints, then you are sure to get a top score.
Right. A couple administrative things. There was an announcement posted in Slack. There will be one on the general forum as well. The One World Award. I'm going to read this from the document because I will miss something. So, to drive awareness about diversity and inclusion, Women in Blockchain created an additional prize. Sponsoring just started and is at $4,000 US so far. It will honor the solution that best promotes open access and equal inclusion. Don't think there's a way for me to talk about it at the session. Okay, so that's from Tessie. So this is another additional award outside the $50,000 prize pool for the hackathon. There is more information in Slack, and there will be in the forums as well. We'll cross post the announcement, so it's in both places and persistent. But that will be above and beyond. And I believe, Sophie, that this is selected by Women in Blockchain by the group, correct?
Yes, correct. That is not part of the incubator judging. So it will be judged by the Women in Blockchain sponsors. And if you have any questions, please post in the diversity Slack channel. And tag Tessie. Yes. Yep.
And Tessie is in charge of that, so she can also respond with any of your questions there. I had another administrative thing, but I don't remember. Nick, do you have any more questions in the live chat?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. So communication currently, there is a Google Doc, which I will also post in the announcement, that shows which teams have signed the DocuSign contract and which haven't. I will start reaching out to team captains with the person on which the DocuSign is stuck. Please, and I will post what the subject of the email is so that you can check. Some people are, for some reason, getting caught in spam. It should be coming from DocuSign. Excuse me. But we'll post all that. Again, there is no reason, unless you're relying on that paperwork to split up your team, there's no reason that you cannot work on this hackathon without having that document completed. It needs to be completed before submission is due. And that is the only deadline on that so far. I don't believe that we're going to impose another deadline before that. So I think that's it for the questions that I see and have. Sophie, I don't know if there's anything that you want to touch on or talk about.
Not many on my end. Any questions from the audience? So this is your chance to get everything answered in this 1 hour. So keep them coming.
We'll just sit here and talk about our weekends, right, Sophie?
All right. It actually does look like we have one in from JDev Mehta, who asks, please let us know final submission format ASAP. Please make it flexible enough so we don't have to arrange it checkpoint-wise, rather answer-wise, whatever that means.
I think I know what you mean. It's not going to be very prescriptive in file formats or structure or anything. It's going to be, you need a README. In your README, you need to have your team name, maybe. But oh no, actually no, the submission should not include it. We have that somewhere, but format for submission. It's just going to be, this folder contains materials related to checkpoints. This folder contains source code, and this folder contains presentation and other materials. That's pretty much it. I think for the video or presentation, you have to be sure to not include your team or name in there, just the name of your product or project. But again, Sophie and I will put that together. I'll be more prescriptive on the Topcoder, file format, but any other information that we need to provide for the judges, everything should be in the Airtable already. But it will not ruin your day with the requirements. I guess the only other key thing is a lot of people will submit code for a project. If it's a Node project, remove your Node modules folder, stuff like that, like stuff that you would not commit into source code, don't include that. Those are the kinds of recommendations and requirements that we're going to have. It won't be too prescriptive beyond that.
And then SRC Make says, what if the video is over 5 minutes? I talk a lot,
Please don't make it an hour-long documentary. These poor judges have to judge a lot of submissions, so being succinct is part of a sale of a new startup. So try to keep it with, not within. We're not going to mark you down for 501, but if you start hitting 6 or 7, it might be a little bit too wordy. And then that also reminds me, for submissions of videos, we prefer that you upload to YouTube as an unlisted video and provide a link. Do not upload your video to Topcoder.
And JDev has another question. Will the judges build and run the MVP/POC code?
That's a question for Sophie. Oh, she's making a no face.
No. We're having really loud music here, but no, they will not. They will only read your writings, your graphs, and watch the video. I don't think they will run any code.
Okay. Nick, anything else in there?
No, it has paused for a second. They might be wondering what you actually use your outlet for right behind you, though.
I can't talk about that.
Oh, no. Okay, so we have another SRC Make question. What was that thing Sophie said about supporting the non-winning teams?
I don't know. Sophie?
Which one am I asking? Who's asking that question? So we've been having discussions about what we do after this incubator, how to support teams even though you're not winning. So we will be likely hosting workshops, roundtables, meetings, conferences that you can join us afterwards. So we'll keep you posted. But at the moment, focus on your submissions. Get to the end. You're not that far.
Great. I think that covered it, actually. That's good. I'll get the video back on, James.
Don't look at my outlet, Nick. All right, so we're gonna hang out for another minute or so. Thanks to everybody for communicating in the BSIC Hackathon Slack. Some of the help from the mentors, the comments from the people, a lot is helping other teams, which is awesome. And a lot of people are actually nice to me, which is nice. I know that it's stressful. I know that it's there's a lot of problems and stuff like that. But I think the cause is awesome, and I think that a lot of people are participating and doing really well. I look forward to seeing the submissions.
We have something from Victoria Crane in the chat, who mentions, what did you do last year? To support non-winning teams. Did we do this last year? Or?
We did not. ConsenSys did, I believe, through DevPost, right? Right, Sophie?
Yeah, right. Last year we did it through DevPost. So it was a 4-week hackathon, which is shorter. And this year we kind of expanded. Yeah, second year still a lot of problems unsolved. So a lot to improve.
But the question specifically was, did you do the team support for teams that didn't win, or that you're talking about doing this year? Did you do anything last year?
No. We tried to follow up individually, but it was not organized. So it's not like a group activity or any sort of, but teams are definitely welcome to get in touch, keep in touch with us. So this time, yeah, even if you don't win, just email us socialimpact@consensus.com, net, sorry. We'd love to know you.
Great.
And this call is sponsored by Starbucks, apparently, too.
I wouldn't say that. All right, any other questions in there, Nick?
Nothing right now, nope. But keep them coming, guys. We're here for a few more minutes if you want to get those questions in.
I can't deal with that air, Nick. You want to tap dance or something?
What were you reading off of? Did you get like preloaded questions?
Yeah, I sent you the link.
Nice. I thought people were adding to it. You said so.
Oh yeah, people were. There's a bunch of editors in there, and they're adding stuff. So.
Oh, I see.
Oh, let's see. There's more questions in here. Does the video itself get uploaded to Topcoder, or is it just a link to a video hosting site? Yeah, I had answered that. Unlisted video on YouTube is the best. You can use another site as long as it's, I would recommend unlisted, and the judges will be able to view it without a login or anything like that. I don't know if you do want to keep it really secret and you need a login. I guess you could put the instructions in your README, but again, unlisted YouTube video, and then if you're concerned about it, you can take it down after the judging is complete. Sophie just messaged. Can we invite Susan Roy? Oh yeah, there you go. Do you have that URL, Sophie?
I believe she does. What is the One World Prize, just for people who don't know?
Well, that's what we're going to find out, Nick.
Oh, do you? Oh, I thought you knew. I just wanted to...
So I read the blurb in the document, but yeah, the One World Award is the prize put up by Women in Blockchain.
Oh, that's awesome.
Were you able to get her invited, Sophie?
Susan, if you are on the call right now, please check your email. I'm sending the link to you. Or Slack you. Just keep an eye out for that.
Great. Let's see.
Are you a Star Wars guy or a Star Trek guy?
Me?
The world wants to know.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I don't want to ruin my nerddom by saying I've never seen a Star Trek, so I won't say that out loud. Right now, I'm a Westworld guy, Nick.
You know what? I'm trying to wait a few episodes just so I can binge it. But fortunately, nothing's been spoiled yet.
Good. Well, let me tell you all about it.
No. Just like ruin it for everybody on the call.
Yep.
And so we're waiting for Susan. If you do have any more questions, we are taking them. Just pop them in the chat on YouTube.
For the people that are watching, a little advertisement. Outside of the hackathon, blockchain.topcoder.com is actually sponsored by ConsenSys, and we're doing a lot of great work on blockchain tools. We're doing blockchain projects. We're doing challenges. So you could actually compete and win money, all the time. I believe that we have a large volume of stuff coming too, design and development. So definitely, please stay up on blockchain.topcoder.com.
Plug. That's a good one. All right. Click that URL.
I say if we get no more questions in about 5 minutes, we'll jump off.
All right, sounds good.
Let's join. Nick, you're gonna have to go back and edit this video.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's cool because we got JDev here, and JDev asks, "Do we need to use ConsenSys for this hackathon?"
Do you need to use ConsenSys built tools and stuff for this hackathon? I don't think so. Sophie, I don't know. I don't know really the realm of the question. Is it, do you have to use Ethereum as the platform for blockchain for this hackathon? What do you say, Sophie?
You don't have to, really. It's your decision to choose the best tech. Yeah, so although this is organized by us, we are not, again, part of any evaluation process. So just, yeah, choose whatever makes sense to you only.
I would say on the flip side of that, make sure you dig around with the tooling and they call them spokes, areas of ConsenSys that are working on different projects. The one that I know pretty well from a previous quote-unquote hackathon, it was not a team hackathon, it was just a long challenge, was for the Uport team, which is they do attestation and identity management on Ethereum. So basically, you can manage your own information. I'm doing a terrible job at selling it, but check out Uport on ConsenSys, and then check out some of their other stuff. One of the other teams we're working with is the Diligence team, and they're doing smart contract evaluation. They have a tool called Mithril, which is validation of smart contracts. So there's a lot of stuff out there that you can look at. I would encourage you to look at a lot of the tools that ConsenSys provides.
Great. Yeah, I think that answered his question.
All right, Sophie, what do you think? Do you think Susan can make it, or do you want to move on?
Trying to contact her, but he's not really responding, so I'm not sure if she's on the call. But yeah, again, for any questions related to One More Prize, you're feel free to tag her. I'll tag her. The name is just Susan Roy. And then tag Tessie, ask questions in diversity channel. The main requirement is just submit 2 documents describing how your approach is related to equality and inclusion, and then explain a little bit in the video demo as well. That's it.
Muted.
See, Nick, this is why I have you here. Tessie's explanation is actually a pinned post in the diversity channel. So if you want to read more about it, it's on there. And as I said, I will be cross-posting that to the forums. The oneworldaward.com is the URL that's in there to read more as well. All right, I think the questions have dried up. So I would say just stick close to Slack, stick close to the forums. Keep working, lean on your mentors where you can, and then Sophie and I will continue to try to answer questions. And as I have on all these calls, I have to give a shout out to my co-pilot, Sergey, Bird of Preru. He is awesome with platform questions, forums, stuff like that. Sergey is the man. So please tell him so. All right. Anything else, Sophie, that you want to say?
All good, all good. And if you have more questions, like this, we'll see the need for another session. If you have more questions, we'll ask on Slack, and then we'll see next week.
Sounds great. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you to James and Sophie for answering all of your questions. And just being here today to do so. Thank you very much. If you have any more questions, just do what they said. We got Slack, we got forums going on. And I think that will wrap it up for us today. Thanks for joining, and we will catch you next time. Thank you.